So going to learning event analysis, you need one learning event analysis or significant event analysis per year. So learning event analysis is anything that happened that did not lead to a harm to the patient. Okay, see it here. In each training year, you need to document one learning event analysis or one significant event analysis. Is one per training year. Now, see, there's a specific threshold for reporting an event as a significant event. And if you see it here, it says the GMC states that a significant event is any unintended and unexpected event which could or did lead to harm of one or more patients. In my case, I didn't have any significant event. So what I was having was learning event analysis. So let me give an example of the learning event I had in my first year. So I think obviously I was new and I collected a sample and I forgot to label it. I was in hospital rotations. So I collected a sample from a patient, a very difficult patient to withdraw samples from, and I sent it over to the lab and I forgot to label it. And then later in the day, I got a message from the lab saying they were not going to process it because it wasn't labeled. So I had the job of going to the patient, explaining that I had to take another sample again. It was quite stressful, and then I wasn't able to get the sample, got someone to do it. So for me, it was a learning event. So and then I had to write it up and say, I forgot to label this, and because the patient was quite unhappy about it. And in future, I would always double check that I've labeled. So it was a learning event in that I learned something from it. I had to talk with the patient. I had to apologize to the patient. I had to get the sample again, but the patient did not come to any harm, if that makes sense. So it's something that you learned something from it, but no harm came to the patient. Significant event is something that led to harm of a patient. I don't know anyone that has written a significant event. It's just, so anything can be a learning event, anything at all. It can be documenting from another patient in another patient's notes. It can be something that has to do with patient care but did not lead to harm of the patient. So it's the same thing. You will also write the title, you will write where it happened, you will write what happened, including your role. So just explain what happened. In my case, I said I was the ST1 on duty. I went to collect a sample. It was a busy shift. I did not label. It was rejected. Why did it happen? Well, just explain why it happened. I honestly forgot to label. What was done well? In this case, I now wrote that in as much as I forgot to label, I took responsibility, did with duty of candor in mind. I went and told the patient, explained to the patient, apologized to the patient, and got someone else to take the sample again. And then obviously describe your personal involvement. I was the one that took the sample. I was the one that went back and sorted it out. And then obviously what could be done differently. Make sure you label, in my case, make sure I label samples and double check that it's done before sending it off. Who was involved? I discussed with nurses in the ward and my supervisor later. And then what have you learned? So it's just a learning event that did not come to a harm. Obviously, if you have a significant event, you can document that, but you need to be careful as to the kind of significant event you're putting in your portfolio. And I'm sure this will also be explained more in your course. Okay, and that is it. The same thing, you have your clinical experience groups and you have the capabilities, and then you would save, and it goes to your supervisor who will go through it, decide whether the capabilities fit with that case or not. And that would be it for learning event analysis.